I'm feeling alive.
I feel alive.
Let me feel you. You do. You feel alive. We're good. All right. Hey everybody, it's Mike Meyers with my guest Jessica Dickerson today. This is the Mike Meyers Monday edition of the Ask Mike Anything live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our studies. Although, heck, we're going to just keep going now that Corona's kind of gone from pandemic to endemic. We're just going to keep going on here, on and on. So, welcome aboard, everybody. Jessica's here today mainly because we want to talk about jobs and getting work and what's happening. And we've had, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, a lot of people asking questions. And a lot of times what comes in, Jess, more than anything else, is people are always like, I'm having trouble getting a job. Okay? Mm-hmm. Which, I don't know, do you find that surprising in today's environment? Oh,
I find it surprising that it's hard to figure out how to get a job. Yeah, today's environment, there's plenty of jobs out there, but it's hard to figure out the right kind of mechanisms to use to get there.
Well, that's what we're here today. We're going to be talking about this. So we're starting here at 2 o'clock. This is Central Daylight Time here in Houston, Texas. And we'll be going till 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time here in Houston, Texas. Or until the questions run out, whichever happens first. But we tend to have lots of good questions on these types of days. Now, guys, remember, this is an Ask Mike. Well, now it's an Ask Mike and Jessica anything. So you have to put questions into the chat window here on YouTube. So while we're looking at that chat window, at the top, if it says Top Chat, go ahead and hit the pull down and switch that to Live Chat. Get the algorithm out of the way. And then secondarily, make sure your timestamps are on. We're going to be giving away free practice questions today. So those timestamps can help you win free stuff. All right. So with that attitude in mind, thanks again, Jess, for jumping on board. Mm-hmm. Always appreciate it. You just got back from California.
I did. Nice little trip.
Yeah.
Beautiful out there.
I know Jessica's kids. It's almost hard to call them kids.
They're grown-ups. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have like real jobs, you know.
They do.
They're like attorneys and bankers and you know, drug dealers. No, I'm kidding about that last one, but they're great, and but you've been home a week now. I could have swore that you were in California till like yesterday. I don't know where I got that.
I come and go, you know.
You were like the wind.
So one of the good things about my job is that I work remotely almost all the time. I go into the office occasionally. So if I want to work from California to visit my son, Virginia to visit my daughter, you know, on a boat somewhere, looking over the blue ocean.
Down by the river? No,
That'd be a van.
That's a van. Sorry, Chris Farley.
Then I can.
It's a van down by the river. I can do. Oh, in fact, I did that too well, didn't I?
I wasn't going to say anything. Yep.
She'll say it later when the camera's off. That's for sure. All right. So anyway, guys, today we're talking about getting work and what's keeping people from getting work, and some of the mistakes that people are making. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
So what I want to do is let me run through here, see who's on yet. We see the usual rogues gallery is here. Will Shaw, he's a pretty funny guy. You don't know these folks.
No.
But trust me. Mr. G's here. Steve G's here. Dave Rush is here.
Really? You sure?
It says Dave Rush.
All right.
He really exists. Jessica, I swear to God, Dave Rush is a real person. It's just the name is a little Hollywood, isn't it?
It is. It's
What's
great.
Your name?
Yeah.
Dash Riprock. Dave Rush. Emilio Estevez. Come on, who would have a name like that?
Honestly.
Yeah. So we got it there. Best of luck. Somebody's doing something good. Oh, Steve G, third interview for a cool software cloud-based support job. Excellent.
Very good.
Just waiting to hear back. Good luck to you there, Steve G. Mm-hmm. Mohammed's here. Good to see you, Mohammed. Cinderfly. I've seen a horsefly.
Have you seen a butterfly?
I've seen but I've never seen an elephant fly. Oh my God, is Dumbo no longer politically correct?
Dumbo's just really old.
Yeah, so am I, man. Mm-hmm. All right. I always get in trouble because that's the hardest part. In technology as an instructor, it's easy for me to stay on top of technology. Well, it's not easy, but it's doable, right? But what gets me in trouble is my jokes, man. If I do a good joke now, that's a dad joke. Like that's like my best joke, and they're all like, "Oh, it's a great dad joke." then it just goes down from there, man. Down quickly. T.D. Washington's here. Jared Graham's here. We do this old romper. See, there you go. I can't even make that analogy. Everybody's like, romper room? What is he talking about? Andrew Hutz. You're not that old, Mike. You're 6 months older than my dad. Ah, thanks, Andrew. That just makes my day right there. And Theodoros Georgialis, clearly from Ireland. I'm kidding. Okay, so I'll tell you what. We don't have any questions in yet, but that's usually normal for...
If you scroll back down, was there a question from Patricia, maybe? Right? Chronological work history would go to 2 resume pages. Would it be best to use applicable skills-based background, keep it to 1 page? Grid question, we're told a lot, 1 page, 1 page, 1 page. What I have seen and what HR and hiring managers have told me is everything's put into electronics now. The only time you print something out is when you're carrying it to a room to interview. Don't worry about whether it's 1 pages or 2 pages. Too wordy, don't have things in there that...
I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. You keep
do
going.
that.
I'll be
keep
back
talking.
in no time.
Don't have things in there that don't matter, that are too not applicable if you're trying to keep it shorter. Because you don't want to bury the lead, you don't want to hide the good information. But don't be afraid of 2 pages. If you've got 2 pages worth of stuff, say it. Do it. I hope that answered it. Hope that helped. Let's see. But yeah, the idea of having the resumes electronic is really important. Welcome back.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Let me see if I can roll this back up again. Nope, we go down, right?
Yeah, normally you scroll down to get to the bottom. To get to the bottom of things.
To get the bottom of things. All right. Is it a mistake to look for IT help desk experience before going into any entry-level cybersecurity work? Or should my goal to be straight for entry-level cybersecurity jobs? It is not a mistake. Well, first of all, if you know somebody or you have an entry point into either one of those careers, go for it, because you will be changing around and have opportunities everywhere once you're in.
I'm just taking notes.
The technology jobs lead you to the next technology job. And if you can go in for a help desk and then also your help desk support, software help desk, IT help desk, you're going to be dealing at some point or another with cybersecurity questions. You're going to have a problem because somebody's can't get to an application because their firewall won't let them in, or something along those lines. They can't log into their single sign-on, something along those lines. You're going to hit things. So it's not a bad thing to do that at all. You got the mouse?
Okay, no, I'm
You're
driving
away. I'm talking away. Yep.
You're pontificating.
Ooh, governance, risk, and management. Ooh, I like that. Sorry, I'm skimming around.
Here's an easy one, Jack from 206. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jessica, thanks for being here. What are some of your general tips for preparing a strong resume?
So be concise and clear. Edit yourself. Don't be wordy. That's important.
Comic Sans?
No. Unfortunately, Comic Sans is actually a very good font. We can have conversations about that all day long, but it is not acceptable.
So, but in all seriousness, though, obviously not Comic Sans, but there are arguments on serif versus sans serif fonts in resumes.
Yes.
Do you have an opinion on this?
Most of the time when they're looking at it online. Online is better sans serif. And if I see something that's serif, I will not even notice whether it is or not. So if you ask me for my opinion, I have one. How much does it really matter? Not a lot. Online is better sans serif.
Because you actually, this is an area of a little bit of passion for me. Because I like serif fonts for readability.
Paper or screen? Paper? Absolutely. Screen a little different.
I don't know.
Do some research. We'll both do research, and we'll come.
I am doing
we'll
research.
Have,
I'm
we'll have
having
big
you
argument.
get on here. That's my research. What does Jessica say? I'm going sans serif. This is easy.
Let me give a few more tips, though. Okay. So, also, if you have things that are quantifiable, even if they're approximate quantifiable, you know, I was a IT support person for a piece of software or for a group that included 1,000 to 2,500 people. Numbers are good. It gives you proof. So try to work numbers in there if you can, firm things, although estimates are good, but things that are quantifiable in some way. And have other people read it, find all the typos. Everybody does typos. Try your best to get rid of them.
I don't get any typos because I use my spell check.
You have editors.
I have many editors.
Yep.
I've had many editors, my first at 12. But seriously, there's a lot of issues on resumes. I know we've covered some of this last time we were on a year and a half ago. But I want to pop a couple on these as a refresh. On resumes, how do you know how far back to go? You've had a lot of jobs. I mean...
Oh, I have. I know. I started working when I was 12, 13 years old. But that first job was a disc jockey at a country radio station. So that's an interesting thing to put on there. If I need interesting, I'll put that in. If, because it'll catch somebody's eye. I've had plenty of interesting jobs since then. I don't need it anymore. I don't put it on there. So it's going to be a very individual decision. How far do you go back? As far back as you think you can get the attention of the hiring manager.
Okay.
In a good way.
Do you ever skip jobs? I mean, there's the whole chronological thing.
Yeah.
But maybe you had that job up here that was,
Yep. So having gaps in resumes is not ideal, but it's a lot more acceptable than it used to be. But there are times I do a lot of contract work. One of the reasons why I'm here today is because I've done a lot of contract work and finding those positions and talking with HR and hiring managers. And there's some contracts I won't put on there. If it's the most recent position I've had, I always put that on there because that's going to be, they're always going to call and verify employment or something like that. And so that's important. But other things, if it looks like it's just filler, you can leave it out. If it looks like it's making a gap, try not to do too many gaps, but it doesn't hurt anything if you've got a job that is completely not applicable.
All right, so going back to the resume then, well, not that we ever left.
Sure.
Sorry. I'm drinking carbonated beverages on a live stream. Brrr, it's okay, they know me. So what are the 3 pieces, the 5 pieces, the 2 pieces of a resume? What are the chunks?
Oh, sure. So make sure that you have your name, phone number on there. If you are looking for a remote position, you might or might not want to put your address. If you are applying for a local position, put your address so they know you are local. And because they may filter out things where, well, I'm not going to pay for moving or something like that. So make sure they can contact you. Name, email, phone number. And then usually it starts with an introductory statement of some sort. What are you? Who are you? What do you bring to the table? Even if it's a little bit about I want, that's okay. But do a short 2 or 3 sentences, paragraph saying this is who I am and this is what I'm going to bring to your company. And then experience, and then either education or a mixture of education and skill sets.
This is where you put your certifications and
absolutely.
Stuff like that. All right.
Yep. So I consider those kind of things kind of blend together. And if they're not applicable, they're not applicable. So if you have anyway, those are the big sections.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, this is always, because one of the questions I get a lot on a resume, and they're like, well, I need to say what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And you kind of said more of a, this is who I am.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, if you can spin it a little bit, instead of saying, I want, say, you want me because. So try to get that in your mind for those few sentences at the top. Instead of, I'm looking for a position where I can, say that I will bring these things. So try to do that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just, Jessica, I'm just going through looking for questions.
That's fine.
All right.
I want to get back to that risk governance one. I had just a brief glance.
Where'd it go?
I think it's up higher. Oh, well, I'm not quite sure. I'll read these and reach out.
Well, no.
Oh, here. Do you think that governance, risk management, compliance work in cybersecurity is a good entry point for people who don't have a lot of hands-on technical experience? Absolutely. Thank you, Andrew Hutz. And one of the reasons that's caught my eye is these things are actually a little bit more of my skill than too much technical experience. That's kind of how I got introduced. And these things are crucial for auditing, for understanding compliance work, requirements, things like that. It's a lot easier to learn the technical things on a basic level than it is to understand the concept of how to interpret laws and regulations for compliance.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Quick sidebar, Caden Coolidge. Mike, I recently won a voucher on here. I just wanted to say that I've passed Security Plus. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to take the exam. Hey, you're more than welcome. And thanks to your course, I got the trifecta before even graduating high school. A plus, Network Plus, Security Plus.
Excellent. Oh. Yep. Very good.
Well done, Caden.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Good on you. We're going to give him a round of applause. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
We can give him a square? Oh, never mind.
A trapezoid. Come on, dodecahedron. You do the XY, I'll do the YZ. There we go, yeah. Wow. Okay, that's like almost funny. You know?
Almost
You
funny.
do the X and the Y, I'll do the Y and the Z. We can do a 3D. Any 3D solid clap you want, Jessica and I got it for you. Mm-hmm. Can you do a rhododendron?
Rhododendron's a flower.
I know.
A rhombus?
Rhombus.
All right, back to the questions.
I knew this was going to happen with you. All right, how about this? Andrew Hutz is on. He's our question guy, man.
Great.
All right. So do you think quality blue team defensive work gets overshadowed by the more sexy offensive security work? And how would you encourage someone to consider the blue team? I got an answer for that if you don't.
Go for it.
Nobody starts on a red team. Ever. It just doesn't happen. Not really. You're always going to start on a blue team. That's just...
And who wants... I mean, if you're hiring someone, then you're doing the blue team work all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Red team work is rare, and you can always hire people to come in and do that.
What's the...
Blue team is the career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it better be.
We want to talk about that latest.
Yep.
But no, to me, vulnerability assessment and pen testing is the same job, just looked at from a different angle.
And pen testing has so many tools that do it. You don't, I mean, I know you need to have that intelligence, you need to have that awareness to be able to interpret everything and to help people eliminate those vulnerabilities that are found in pen testing. But doing the vulnerability assessment is really the work in getting those resolved.
Yeah, well, in particular, when you're setting up the parameters for, you're actually going to pay for a proper professional pen test.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to set, it's the blue team that's going to set the parameters 9 times out of 100.
That's right.
So 99 times out of 100. I said 9 times out of 100. So wait a minute, there was, hold on, you got to scroll up. Where'd he go? So Theodorus is Greek. I knew you were Greek, I'm kidding. And then, but he's living in Switzerland.
Nice.
Yeah. Did we miss one?
Oh, it's also him. 4 months after I passed the A+, 1001, I took the decision to continue for the 1002 part. Already bought the course, your book for Network Plus, and thank you.
Yep.
That's great. That's wonderful. it's good stuff. It really, really teaches you well, and getting the knowledge and the proof that you know things really helps getting the jobs. Certifications
Miguel
matter.
Miguel Rojas is asking voucher giveaway. Miguel, we are not doing voucher giveaways right now, mainly because CompTIA isn't giving us vouchers to give away. So we're working with them, and we have every confidence that in the not too distant future we'll have vouchers back. So stick with us. We're working on that. Scroll it along. Go ahead. Where?
Oh, Don.
No, that's just
looking
he's
at
asking
that.
a question on.
Yeah, I was just checking out things.
He's giving me junk because I didn't mention Fin on a. Is it
all the handshakes
generic
in
handshake
Fin.
or is it HTTP handshakes? It always ends with a Fin. TD Washington. IT job at IT company versus job in IT department at non-IT company.
Do they differ? I would say they do.
Yeah, because
yeah.
in a non-IT company, you're building mousetraps. Mm-hmm. Your main job is building mousetraps, and the IT people support the mousetrap building. In fact, I think it's kind of a cool way to get into IT because you actually learn an industry and become like a little mini systems analyst. Mm-hmm. You could be an entry-level tech, and you're just sitting there fixing somebody's mouse, and then all of a sudden you see that they're doing something on paper, and you're like, an Excel spreadsheet or, stuff like that. But you have to know the business. Mm-hmm. And this is what always cracks me up about people who are going, I've been an auto mechanic for 30 years, and now I want to get in IT. So how do I do that? I go, well, stay as an auto mechanic, but just be the IT guy for the auto mechanics. Mm-hmm. And, keep that knowledge. It's such an important thing. Whereas the IT guy for an IT company, you're still... Let's interpret what he's trying to say there.
Yeah.
Is he like working with an MSP or something like that?
So... IT job at an IT company, let's say, there's two aspects there. I'm imagining you're not going to be IT for the employees at this IT company. You're going to be hired out to do IT elsewhere. And that sometimes you get a really broad experience of learning a lot of things. Sometimes you are funneled into one spot. But it definitely gives you a lot of contacts that you can use to leverage your next position if that's what you choose to do. However, if you're inside a company, you become the expert. You become the person that they want to get knowledge from. And so that leads to a longer term position. And you can grow a little bit more easily from a promotion standpoint very often. So it just kind of depends on what life you want to lead. Do you want to hop from place to place, or do you want to invest your time in one spot and become a pro at what you're doing?
So Andrew, the question machine today has another question for you. Jessica, as a follow-up for my other GRC question, a friend is pivoting from financial risk management for the automobile industry to cybersecurity. How should she present that experience in interviews?
Sure. So risk management is risk management. You do need to make sure that you have an idea of what the term risk really is, which you would get from, obviously, from her previous job, but make sure that is translated onto the resume. Try to find the risk that she's identified and managed done in a process way, because vulnerable identification and risk management, whether it's even making sure patches are applied to all the software, that's a risk management type thing. There's an equivalent of something that she has probably already done. And put those things, call out the things that have equivalencies on the resume.
The only other thing I would add to that is that if she's doing financial risk management, pretty much guarantees she's got a bachelor's degree at least. And in that case, it's not that hard of a stretch to look at moving very quickly into a governance type or audit type situation. Mainly by slapping some, like maybe for audit ISACA certifications or ISC certs.
Yeah.
If you're looking more towards the government, moving towards that, the great CISSP in the sky, right? Still pays.
Having the word audit is useful. Financial is useful also when it comes to especially cybersecurity, but IT in general. Audits happen. People dread them when they're not used to them. And someone who can prepare for any kind of an audit, deal with going through that audit, and then resolving issues afterwards is very valuable. And I don't care if that audit is financial or looking for papers or it is
security
an
audit.
IT or security audit,
Yeah,
making sure
absolutely.
that you have licenses for all of the software that you're using.
Or,
These things
or
matter.
you're within, PHI, audits and stuff like that. Everybody thinks IT security is becoming a pen tester, and honestly, less than 5% of all IT security people are a direct pen test. There's so many other ways to go.
Oh, yeah.
That I kind of pitch audit a little bit, mainly
Good.
because
I would.
I can't do it myself because I don't have that. What's the word I'm looking for? Attention to detail that good auditors need, in my opinion. But it's a
And
huge
follow
area.
through and
Great,
preparing and oh yeah.
it needs a lot of warm bodies in there, which we don't have. Here's one from Jack at 219. I got another one. How useful is LinkedIn in getting a job and networking in your experience?
I say extremely important. Now, this is something we've talked about before.
We have.
Trends change. Trends change quite a bit. So if you're listening to this a year from May 2022, double check this information. But right now, if you don't have a presence on LinkedIn, then you're just not out there in the corporate world. A little bit of an exaggeration, but not much. You need to be on LinkedIn. You can have more things on LinkedIn that are on your resume, but make sure that they don't conflict with information. That's something that is always checked up on. If you put it on a resume and send it to people you don't know, those things can be spun a little bit much. If you put it on LinkedIn and all your friends can see it, they're double checking you to make sure you're a little bit more honest, possibly. So make sure your resume and LinkedIn don't conflict. LinkedIn, I believe, is one of the best places to find jobs if you're looking through to see what the career is. Understand the terminology out there. LinkedIn will teach you what the common words are that need to go on a resume or skills that are out there that people are looking for. LinkedIn is a tool to post yourself. It's to look for jobs, and it's to look for the information that you need to get a job. What do you think about that?
No, LinkedIn is simply critical. I don't see any way around it. It's not an important step. It's the first step.
Yeah.
In terms of going to get a job. There's nothing before that. Well, you got a nice little compliment here. Well, you got two compliments. You ready? Caden, well, one is for us. You ready? Here's the one for us. Caden Coolidge. I highly enjoyed my dodecahedron of applause. I knew the word, but I wasn't exactly sure what geometric shape it is. It would be a little tough to do a dodecahedron.
12.
We were
doing.
Is it 12-sided?
Yes.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I don't think so.
And just here's one from Don. I would love to see and hear you teach like Mike on Udemy.
I would enjoy that. That would
Well,
be
she
fun.
can't teach like me. I mean, I'm one of a kind. I'm God's own prototype. Too weird to live, too crazy to die. What was that from?
I don't know. I don't always get your references. Sometimes I just smile quietly and
There
roll
goes
my eyes.
God's own prototype. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. A great movie. All right. Anyway. Man. So, What was I about to say? There was another question. Okay. Andrew, just rocking and rolling with the questions here. You know, he does this all the time.
Great. Another thing.
Okay, so wait, I do remember what I wanted to ask about.
All
and
right.
That is, you really want to teach some courses here?
Maybe so. I do have full-time jobs, things like that, but
Well,
I'd be interested.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she'd be great too, guys. You're absolutely right.
Actually, the company that I work for would probably encourage that quite a bit. They support those kind of things. It's great.
So Caden had to take off. Cinderfly, how would one work towards becoming an IT contractor?
Go to LinkedIn and look for jobs that say contract.
I got to tell you, we're in
I'm
those...
sorry, I'm not going to... We'll talk more, but...
You don't have to be that facetious. Cinder, the problem we run into... Cinderfly, I know that's from... Sometimes I just start yelling these references and...
So I do want to talk more about how to do that because there's some great ways that people do approach that. Being an IT contractor, if you have the skills already, you have the resume already, definitely just apply for those jobs. And don't be hesitant to apply for things that say part-time or something like that. Once you get through and really find out the details, then you can figure out whether you want to pursue it or not. But if you don't yet have enough of the skills, look at any organization you may be associated with. Let's say you're in a church and that church probably has a website. Try to get yourself volunteering to help out managing that website. Even if it's watching, over somebody else's shoulder and learning from them. Another good example, if you're in high school and you play sports or anything, debate team or whatever, you probably have a parent group, band boosters. There's probably a website. There's probably an email list. See if you can help with that. That builds your resume and is very important.
We actually have a number of questions popping up, Jess.
Sorry, let's get to it. You know me, I can talk.
We have to do the hurry up dodecahedron. This is from Andrew the Hutz. Where exactly does the CISSP fit in the cybersecurity employment landscape in 2022? I see it listed as at least a nice to have all over the place, even for jobs that don't require 5 years of experience.
Yes.
There's a lot of answer there. Go.
Yeah, they can always ask. It is a nice to have. If you can get to the point where you have a CISSP, then you're good to go. Try to get to that point if you're into security.
But you got to understand, a CISSP is a governance certification. It's not, if you're early on and you see yourself handling screwdrivers, you're going the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You should be thinking more of the Security Plus CASP route. Absolutely.
Now, I think there was another question there about Security Plus. Security Plus is a great entry point. It is an excellent way of learning and testing your skills. Once you continue to work up, there are other certifications that will, I don't want to say supersede those, that will stand out more on a resume. There'll be more of the ones like the CISSP or other things like that. Even other certifications that may be off in a different direction, like PMI, which is a project management one, or a Scrum Master certification, or something along those lines. That
Six Sigma.
Are different. Six Sigma, yeah. So if someone's looking at a resume and they see this list of certifications, Alphabet Soup can be annoying if you're at a lower level. They might not love too many things of the Alphabet Soup certifications on there. But as you go higher, then in your experience, then you're going to be expected to continue to learn and to prove your learning. And that means you're going to build certifications, even if they're not perfectly in line with what you're doing.
Well, and that's one of the things, like CompTIA is like, well, you should always retake your A+ every 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I think for a lot of people, that's simply not true. I think for a lot of people, you're moving so far past
Yeah.
these entry-level certs or even more mid-level certs, especially as you get towards like a CISSP, which is, as far as I'm concerned, about a terminal cert. I couldn't think of anything beyond it. One thing, you don't put A+ on there when you're going for a CISSP. I can't imagine a job where those two together would be a good thing. That's like having your kindergarten graduation along with your bachelor's.
Well, it would be more like a high school graduation, which is good.
Okay.
Along with a PhD, I would.
All right. So
say, yeah.
that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah.
All right. Brennan, Brennan.
Brian.
I spoke to a friend who is a recruiter, and they recommended for their company the ITIL certification for their organizations that are highly valued there. I want to know, so what do you think?
I think that ITIL gives you the language to communicate really, really well on all levels. And that's valuable for a lot of companies. Is it something that I've seen required? Not nearly as much as some of the other things, but it's definitely useful. And it does really give you an understanding of a lot of the structure and the means to communicate IT topics, IT structures that you're going to be using as you move up in your career.
Don Odinga again. Jessica, how much should I demand for compensation from an IT firm with CompTIA certificates? I feel like I'm in that scene from Galaxy Quest where, what's her name, Sigourney Weaver? She just had to repeat everything that the computer said.
Yeah.
And then she was the only one who could talk to the computer because if anybody else tried to talk, it wouldn't listen.
So
did you get the question?
I understood. I listened to all the words.
Okay.
There are two ways I can take that question, both of which may be useful. One is compensation could be, if I'm going to go bother to study, and let's say you're already a current employee, you're a current employee, and you want your employer to compensate you for getting this certification. If it's part of your career, hopefully they'll pay for it. That all depends on how profitable they are at the moment, usually, and whether or not they can afford to provide training. As for what kind of salary should you look for, that depends far more on where you live, what your experience is, and things like that. Sorry, I can't help you with that one. But you know what? If you go to LinkedIn and you click on the filter to show everything with salaries, you'll be able to look up lots of job offers that include salaries, and you'll be able to build that information for yourself based on where you live.
Cool. So, Jess, we need to take a couple of minutes here. We're about halfway through our hour. And number one, guys, do be aware that we have a Discord channel. Okay, we don't have a Discord channel. Siegfried Vanderweek, did I get the right? That's Siegfried's Discord channel. Anyway, there is a Discord channel out there known as the unofficial Mike Meyers Discord channel. I have no control over it, but they do a great job. It's starting to really grow. We've got a link for that Discord channel here in the chat. Please check that out. We'd love to have you there. It's a great place to hang out with folks, ask lots of questions. A lot of the people that you're seeing here in the chat also show up on the Discord as well. So do keep that in mind. The other thing you guys got to keep in mind is just because you're nice enough to show up today, we're offering a massive discount on a combination of ebooks and practice tests. Now, like I tell everybody, in order to pass any certification, not just CompTIA, not just IT, but pretty much any certification, you need instruction, which can manifest as a standalone, as an instructor, or as videos. Number two, you need reference. That's a book. And then number three, you need practice questions to be able to see how good you're learning something. So what we're doing, and we do this every week, by the way, is we have a combination ebook and our total tester. That's our practice question. We call them the total tester for a broad cross-section of topics, all available at half off. Look, folks, I'm already the cheapest of the good stuff out there. Nobody touches me price-wise, but more importantly, if you head over to our website, www.totalsem.com, TOTALSEM.com, head over to the merchant area. Let's say you're interested in Network Plus. Just put the Network Plus ebook into your cart, and then put the Network Plus Total Tester into your cart, and then you type in the phrase, Dave told me this ahead of time, and I should have had it in front of me. Hold on. You got to type in FORCE, F-O-R-C-E, because May the Force is coming up quite quickly.
Day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
Star Wars Day.
So type in F-O-R-C-E, and you will get half off of an already inexpensive product, and you got to take advantage of it. It's a ridiculously good deal. So speaking of things like that, Jess, I would like to give some stuff away. Do you mind?
I love it.
So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be Server Plus.
Ah.
I did not click on the right exam, but you know what? Let's go with it anyway.
Okay then.
All right, so guys, we're going to actually take a practice. So we're about to give away 90-day access to any of our any Total Seminars practice questions you want. We've got zillions of them, okay? Now, before we get started here, a couple of things. Number one, this is not a fair test. I'd like it to be fair. I try to make it fair, but you know, the vagrancies of time and distance and how people write things. And plus, nerds are the most competitive people on earth, and we got a room full of them here.
Ha.
Anyway, so with that attitude in mind, I'm going to put up a multiple choice question. Now, your job with this multiple choice question is to put the answer into the chat window. Do not type A, B, C, or D. You're instantly disqualified if you do that. Just type in enough of the answer so I know what you're talking about. So, just so remember, Daniel Campo, Mike El Guapo. Sí. Well, do tienes
Dodecahedron is 20-sided.
Dodecahedron is 20-sided. All right, so you guys, Daniel, can my computer skills land me a girlfriend?
Well, yeah.
There's nothing good I can say here.
Then we're moving on.
How about them Astros, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to put a practice test up right now, a practice question. The first person to answer this question to my satisfaction wins 90-day access to the Total Tester of your choice, whatever you want. It's all good. Ready, guys? Here we go. All right. So, yes, this is from a Server Plus, but it's still a good... This question would show up on Network Plus and Security Plus for sure. Which two mail protocols enable users to retrieve messages from their mail account? Choose two. Do you know, Jess? Okay. I'm never sure how much you know on the super technical side.
Yeah, well, my information's spotty. I don't use it every single day, everything every day. So, yeah. But that's why you have certifications to prove it.
Yeah, so we're going to give... Okay, so just so you remember, we were at... See there, that number? That's where we need to come back to.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. All right, so let me go ahead and try to answer this real quick. So this is going to two-mail retrieve, so that's going to be POP3 and IMAP. Do you agree, Jessica?
I do.
Let's check. So, Jess, do you know this is our new updated Total Tester tool?
This is nice.
Tool.
Yeah.
You can check your answer. Two answers correct. Here, look, Jess, you can actually check chapters.
Very good.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
This is great.
And then a detailed explanation, especially ones that are wrong. All right, so it's POP3 and IMAP. So let's go ahead and see. My nose runs and my feet smell. I'm built upside down. See, there's a dad joke right there.
I also know his daughter, Emily, would be proud.
Oh, yeah.
She's amazing.
All right, so Jess, help me out here. Who's the winner here? So it's, oh my goodness, Alex. We have a Discord channel where Mike never shows up. You're right. Alex, it's been a crazy time here lately. Which one? Him?
He's got both of them.
All right.
He or she, not sure.
All right, so it's B-R-E-N-E-N-N. B-R-E-N-E-N. That's Brennan. We don't have to make that hard.
The two N's.
No, because I was like B-R-E-E would then be Brienne.
Oh, yeah.
Which would lean more
Brennan.
towards the ladies. But as Brennan, it's,
There's several people, Patricia, lots
Yeah,
of people.
but Brendan got it
Yeah,
first.
that's right.
He got it first. So Brendan, congratulations to you. You have won 90-day free access to the practice questions of your choice at the Total Seminars channel. Now, in order to claim your prize, you're going to have to jump through a couple of hoops. And in particular, I'm going to need you to send us an email. Send an email to Dave Rush, that's Dave R, at TotalSem.com. Inside your email, be sure to include your YouTube name. Also include your email address. Now, I know you think that the return address on your email is sufficient. We've discovered the hard way it isn't. So please put the email that you want to talk to us on in the body of it. And then third, let us know what practice exam you want. And congratulations again to you, Brendan. Well done, sir. All right. So, Jess.
Yes.
Jess. Mm-hmm. So let me get back to where we were because there's a lot of questions in here.
Oh my goodness.
And in fact, we're going to... So let's pick up right here at 227. Tevin Invest. If you could start over in IT, which direction which direction would you pursue? If you could start it all over. Now, here's the question. Are you asking her to start it all over again in the years where she started? Or if she were starting over today? Let's make it easy. If you were
today,
you're 18 years old and you're starting today, what?
It's got to be cybersecurity. I mean, actually, let's be more specific. I would do industrial cybersecurity. I would do whatever I could, even if it meant taking a factory job to try to break into industrial cybersecurity.
What is industrial cybersecurity?
You've got these big factories, you've got plants, all this out there. More and more technology is driving refineries, water treatment plants, all sorts of things like that, chemical plants.
Okay.
That technology is very specialized and often very specific to a particular piece of equipment.
So would you say more like industrial controls?
The security part of industrial controls. Yes.
I got to tell you, that is kind of fascinating. One of the interesting parts about living here in Texas is we make a lot of oil here. Well, we don't make it, but we make a lot of it, but then we take it and
we make it into stuff.
We distill it and turn it into all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of oil.
But waste, water treatment facilities are everywhere. All sorts of things along those lines.
That would be so much fun. We should get Drew Ann Whitaker on.
Seriously? We should?
There's a lot of security issues with
yes.
water now.
Yeah, a lot.
That's a very big deal. And then the other one that I would find, I don't know anybody, but somebody talks SCADA.
Yeah, got to.
Who does pipelines? Between you and me, we know somebody, right? But interesting. So you would go with industrial. What would I do?
The reason I would is because it's just growing, and I would be in the very real bottom floor as it expands. And I like that. What would you do?
I'd probably be a system builder, custom system builder.
I was thinking,
I'd starve to death.
Give me a Raspberry Pi, you're happy.
But yeah, I mean, I think custom system building is more fun now than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
RGB is built into CPU support now, for crying out loud. Yeah. Okay, but we do have quite a few more questions, and I apologize. I get on Johnny 5 at 228. Johnny 5 is alive.
Johnny 5 says, "Hi, I'm transitioning from music."
Short Circuit. What a great movie. All right, I'm going to stop. Go ahead. You read.
Sure.
I'll be
I'm
over here if you need
transitioning
me.
from music production, audio engineering into IT. This has involved quite a bit of tech knowledge over the years. Oh, absolutely. How can I present this on a resume/interview? You're working with a whole lot of equipment. I would say if you decide and choose some of the technology that you're using, that can go on a resume. How you troubleshoot issues with your equipment can go on a resume. If you're teaching somebody else, that can go on a resume. Look at the job that you're applying for and really think about how every day of your life you're doing those things that they're asking for. And then look at other jobs also. And every line item, you probably have a situation where you can say, I did this equivalent in your everyday life. But looking at those job postings will help you I think, to do that.
No, I agree. And I keep adding stuff. Sorry.
I love it.
The only
No,
thing
that's
I would
great.
add to that is, if you're doing sound engineer work, look at the brand names on every soundboard and every device you have. That's who you need to be applying for jobs with.
Great point.
Because you're going to walk in, you have really high-end user skills for these pieces of equipment, especially if you're looking for a sales gig. People poo-poo sales. I like sales, but I'm a talker, so that's part of it. For sales gigs, for technical support, for design work, all that type of stuff, you've already got all the skill, knowledge in the industry. Now, just go all the people, you liked them enough that you bought their soundboard. Why don't you see if they want to buy you?
Yeah.
And definitely give that a chance.
And don't forget that many sales positions are technical sales positions. So you're doing the technical aspects of supporting the smoozer, the guy that is out there doing the real sales part. And you may be doing the technical demos. So there's good positions there.
All right, so I'm going to jump in real quick here. Marwa at 2:28. But we've only got 9 minutes left. How can I have instructor-led classes for less for CompTIA? For less. So I got to kind of interpret that. Marwa, I don't know where you live is the biggest issue. But if you were here in the States, I would say find your local community college or even adult learning places. A lot of people teach CompTIA A+. Tends to be a slower process. Take over a year sometimes, depending on it, but they tend to do it very inexpensively. But I got to be honest with you, if you're looking for less, buy my videos. Honestly, especially like with Linda or Udemy, with probably my two biggest customers, they offer amazing discounts if you're patient, and I'm talking like every couple of months, and you could get it for, I'm not going to say any numbers, but
He's complained about them. They're that low.
yeah, it's been a little. It's like I can't make any money. I'm lighting my cigars with $20 bills. Andrew again. How risky is social media activity to an IT career? Let's just go with that.
Social media, if you do it well, it benefits you. If you do it poorly, it tanks you. And a person who is trying to get into IT should be able to understand the concepts of social media and do it well. Always think about it from the standpoint of what's the most popular technology for the audience you're going for. What are the kind of things they want to hear you say? Social media can be your first interview. If you're out there posting things about IT and you're posting things, making it look like you're passionate about whatever topic of IT, this particular server you're looking at, or a router, or whatever it is that you happen to be trying to get into, then you are promoting yourself. You can use social media very, very well. If you're out there griping about your boss, just stay away from social media. And if you can't tell the difference, stay away from social media.
Yeah, I stay away from social media. All I know how to talk about are inappropriate topics, What's the old joke? Never talk about sex, politics, or religion?
Or your health.
Or your health. But
Yeah.
I've got a goiter the size of a grapefruit. But I've actually, other than some LinkedIn posts, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
completely
fine.
off social media. The reason I don't like Facebook, Jess, is because it's like takes over your phone, and well, that's a whole other conversation right there. But I fear.
But it is your
Social
first
media.
interview. They will be looking. The person who's looking at your resume to consider bringing you for an interview will probably look at your social media if it's public.
I'm going to add to that because this is a big issue, and that is when you're weird like me and like most of the people on here are pretty weird people. Like we have weird senses of humor, okay? So I thought it would be hilarious when the Google Photos, like here at this restaurant, I started taking pictures of me in the restroom. Just my toes, totally safe. I thought it was hilarious. I had like 100 pictures of me in all these restrooms all over the country. Mm-hmm. And then people started catching me. I was like, ooh. I thought it was funny. That's a problem, you know? It's probably what Louis C.K. said. I thought it was funny. You know, got to be careful, man.
Yeah.
Got to be careful. So now we have a big argument going on how many sides is a dodecahedron, but I'm going to stay out of that one.
No argument.
Gino's on. Big shout out to Mike. I took both Core 1, Core 2 on the same day, which is always the way I like to do it. And I always knew I was certifiable. You are that, my friend. You are definitely certified. It's good to see you back on, Gino. It feels like I haven't seen you for a while. Alex, I want Jessica to teach us Linux Plus. So, there's a reason for this, okay? Yeah. Alex is a crackerjack Linux tech. Uh-huh. She's great, all right? And she's just too shy. I asked her, I go, how can I get you on a camera? And she's like, I'm not going to get on a camera, which is fair. So, yeah.
She can give me a script and I can go with it.
There you go. ICCIS says, this is Andrew Hutz again, ask for jobs that are portraying pen testing or SOC analyst. I think that's usually HR people who are, or they're putting a poison pill in there because they got somebody with a CISSP and they're trying to keep the job in-house.
Yeah, but also, if you are the type of person who's going to continually learn, you've got to make your way up through various certifications or across, either way. And one of the ending points on the paths is the CISSP. So if you've made it that far, that's a nice person to have around. I agree with you about the information not being exactly the same. Some of it's applicable, though. If you're working in a SOC, you're going to need some GRC stuff.
I work in sandals because I'm more comfortable that way. Okay, new face, J.E. Medina. What are some roles where healthcare and technology intersect? Here, let me make that easier, Jessica. Where are some roles where healthcare and technology do not intersect?
Yeah. Every single little dentist office and doctor's office have to deal with IT stuff. They have
and
everything.
That's like the personal health information. You know,
yeah.
I'm talking more, well, and that's true. But
well, even for scheduling appointments, all of these kind of things.
I'm talking about the guy who runs the, name a big piece of equipment that you get in and scans you.
Oh, like a CAT scan.
Like a CAT scan. Those things are all PC based, all of them. And boy, Hewlett-Packard and folks like that, you want to make some money, if you don't mind living out of a suitcase, you will, is become a repair tech for any of these pieces of equipment.
Oh, yeah. Or if you're people who are doing healthcare research, they have, or even any med tech lab, you've got things that are spinning blood samples, for example, and separating out things. You got to have it. You need techs there. You need IT people. It's all connected.
We'd have to almost drill this down a little bit to be able to answer it. Crypt Keeper says experience over certs. Yeah, we know that. But if you don't have experience, then what do you do?
And if you have lots of experience and you have really zero certs, people will wonder why.
Yeah.
But you're still right.
Yeah, I agree. Experience over certs. Sean, why aren't more entry-level IT jobs listed on major job sites? Do you need to use a temp agency?
So there's nothing wrong with using a temp agency. If you can find someone who, there's lots of big IT placement or temp agencies. If you can get to know some of those recruiters there, that's great. Why aren't there very many entry-level ones? Because, well, first of all, they don't look like entry-level jobs. They're asking for more than what they really need. Apply for the ones that look like they're not quite entry-level. But also, people are trying to hire their cousins or something like that. So be a cousin to somebody who's hiring. Find your friend group.
Yeah.
Go
definitely.
to meetups and meet the people who are who have a job opening in their group. Yeah, that's
I
it.
got to tell you, it's a little dated information now, but back when I was actually looking for jobs,
That's a long time.
I almost gave away something that would have been really bad to give away. Woof. No, it would have been not. Just, how about the Masters?
Move along.
Is what I call the 3 foot rule. I'm sorry. I call it 3 foot rule, and that is if somebody was in 3 feet of me, I had a card, and I'm looking for work. And I was 100% successful doing that as a younger person. And, never be afraid to get in there. Rotary clubs are still a thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you're in a bigger town.
Like
it can
meetups, hobbies, yeah.
Huh? Okay, well, it looks, guys, I'm afraid we're kind of running out of time today. Jessica, always great to have you here. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
This is great.
Guys, if you have any questions for Jessica, just send them to me. Let me go ahead and get that up real quick while we're still thinking of it.
And connect with me on LinkedIn if you choose to.
Yeah, so you can email me. I'm michaelm@totalsem.com. But equally, Jessica, can I say your name?
Absolutely.
Jessica Dickerson. Dickerson.
That's me.
And easy enough, you're pretty active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've seen you there a few times. And so feel free to connect with Jessica there as well. So, okay, I think that's about, we got it for today. So, folks, I'm going to have to let you go. So, Jessica was doing a remote last week, and I turned off the stream, and I was over at Melissa Lane's, our new editor's house, and one of her cats. I had left the laptop open, and the cat relit the live stream.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was luckily it was just pointing at a boring little piece of wall. But so we're going to turn it off really good. Okay, so Jessica, say we out here. Okay, all right, guys, see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye. How do I turn this off? Stand there like you're doing things.
There we go. Okay.